The alien girls had always been curious about the stars. From the tallest towers of Zeridia, their city of light and crystal, they would watch the skies and imagine the worlds that lay beyond. Their society valued knowledge, beauty, and harmony above all else. Yet among all the things they studied, the aliens had never seen a real human. Humans were creatures from distant worlds, creatures of legend in their data archives. They had pictures, holograms, and reports, but no one had ever met one in person. The girls were a special group, chosen for their curiosity and courage. They were slender, with shimmering skin that changed color slightly under the sunlight of Zeridia. Their large eyes reflected every hue of the sky, and their movements were graceful, almost floating as they walked. They were fascinated by stories of humans, their history, their art, and most of all, their bodies. Humans, according to the records, were strong and adaptable. They could survive in harsh conditions and move with surprising skill. But the girls had always wondered, how could a human body really work? What would it feel like to see one up close? One quiet day, while scanning the edge of their star system for new signals, the girls detected something unusual. It was small but clear, a vessel drifting toward Zeridia. It moved differently from the usual asteroids or satellites. Its shape was strange, and the signal it sent out was unmistakably intelligent. The girls' hearts raced with excitement. Could it be a human? The girls prepared their exploration vessel carefully. They chose their fastest ship, one that could move silently and safely land near the incoming vessel. The leader, a girl named Leora, directed her companions with calm precision. "We must see it ourselves," she said. "We cannot rely on records alone. We will learn more by observing and meeting it." Her friends nodded, their eyes wide with anticipation. The journey was smooth, and soon the alien girls saw the vessel up close. It was small, damaged, and spinning slightly as it descended. Smoke trailed behind it, but it was still moving. Leora signaled her girls to prepare for landing. They approached slowly, careful not to startle whatever was inside. When they finally reached the vessel, they found a human lying on the ground. He was alive but weak, and his suit was torn. At first, the girls only observed from a distance, too amazed to move closer. His body, it was unlike anything they had seen. Muscles moved under his skin as he struggled to sit up. His hands were strong, yet capable of delicate movement. His face was expressive, showing pain, curiosity, and determination all at once. The girls could hardly believe it. They had studied humans, but seeing one in real life was overwhelming. Leora stepped forward slowly, signaling her friends to follow. The human turned his head and looked at them. His eyes were a deep brown, full of life and intelligence. He did not speak their language, but his gaze seemed to communicate a simple question: "Who are you?" The girls introduced themselves through a translator device. They explained that they were explorers from Zeridia, and that they had found him after detecting his signal. The human listened carefully, nodding slightly as he tried to understand. Even though he could not speak their language perfectly yet, he smiled faintly, showing that he appreciated their kindness. The girls were fascinated by his movements. When he stood up, they noticed how his body balanced itself, how his legs absorbed the uneven ground, and how his hands flexed naturally. They had studied anatomy in their libraries, but this was alive, moving, and aware. Leora could not stop herself from asking questions. "How do you do this?" she asked, her translator converting the words. "How does your body stay so strong and flexible?" The human laughed softly, though it was weak from the crash. "We are built to survive," he said. "We walk, run, climb, lift, and adapt. Our bodies are made to handle challenges." The girls were in awe. They had never seen a creature explain its abilities with such simplicity. It made them want to study more, to understand every detail of the human form. They helped him into their ship carefully. The human looked around with curiosity, his eyes wide at the crystalline walls and soft glowing lights. He reached out to touch the surfaces, testing their texture, marveling silently at the technology. The girls watched him with fascination. Every movement, every gesture, every expression made him more incredible in their eyes. As the ship returned to Zeridia, the girls asked him more questions. They learned about human life on his home planet, the different ways humans moved, played, and even trained their bodies. The human explained how running, jumping, lifting, and even walking for long distances helped them stay strong. He spoke about the importance of food, rest, and teamwork. Every detail made the girls more amazed. Humans were not just strong, they were clever, resilient, and capable of learning quickly. By the time they arrived at the city, the human was resting, But the girls could not stop thinking about what they had seen. They had heard stories of human courage and skill, but seeing it with their own eyes was something else entirely. They began planning how they could learn more about him and perhaps even try to replicate some of his movements in their own exercises. That night, in the quiet of their ship's observation deck, Leora and her friends watched the stars and talked about what they had discovered. "He is unlike anything we imagined," Leora said softly. "Not just his body, but his mind, his spirit. Everything about him is remarkable." Her friends nodded in agreement. "We have so much to learn," said another girl, Mira. "We must study him carefully, but also treat him with respect. He is a living being, not just a specimen." The human, meanwhile, looked out at the alien city below. He had traveled far from home, but he felt no fear. These creatures were different, yet there was something familiar in their curiosity, their intelligence, and their gentle approach. He realized that this encounter could be the beginning of something extraordinary, a chance for humans and aliens to learn from each other, to explore the universe together, and to understand that strength and courage came in many forms. The first part of the adventure ended with a quiet sense of wonder. The alien girls could not stop thinking about the human's abilities, his resilience, and the way his body seemed to combine strength, beauty, and practicality in a way they had never imagined. They knew that their world would never be the same. For the human, the experience was equally profound. He had expected to find aliens who might fear or ignore him. Instead, he found beings who were curious, respectful, and genuinely interested in understanding him. It gave him hope that despite the vast distances between worlds, life could connect in meaningful ways. As the stars twinkled above Zeridia, the girls and the human rested, each thinking about what tomorrow might bring. Tomorrow, they would begin to explore together, learn from each other, and perhaps discover that the universe was bigger, brighter, and more fascinating than any of them had ever imagined. And in that shared sense of wonder, the first bonds of friendship and admiration were formed, a beginning of an adventure that would change them all. The morning sun of Zeridia cast long, shimmering shadows over the city. The alien girls woke early, their excitement barely contained. Today was the day they would begin learning from the human they had rescued. His presence was new, unusual, and fascinating, and the girls could hardly wait to explore his abilities further. Leora led the group to the human, who was now awake and stretching carefully. His muscles moved smoothly as he rose from the bed, and the girls watched with wide eyes. Each movement seemed precise, effortless, and yet powerful. "You move differently than us," Mira said, her voice full of wonder. "Your body, it is strong and flexible in ways we cannot imagine." The human smiled and nodded. "It took training and practice," he said, "but mostly we use our bodies every day in work, play, and survival. You can see the difference when you use your body often." The girls decided to start with simple exercises. They wanted to see how humans moved naturally, how they balanced, and how they used their muscles. The human showed them how to walk, run, and stretch. His movements were smooth, but his strength was clear. He lifted light objects to show how he could carry weight without difficulty. The girls tried to mimic him, moving their limbs in ways they were not used to. Some of them stumbled at first, but the human encouraged them gently, showing patience and understanding. "You see," he said, holding a small rock in one hand. "Balance, strength, and coordination all work together. When you use your body fully, you can do more than you imagine." The girls were amazed. They had spent their lives training their minds and senses, but physical movement in this human way was new to them. They realized that humans were not just strong, they were adaptable, able to use their bodies in multiple ways for work, survival, and fun. As the day continued, the human began teaching the girls simple games from his world. One was a running race where they had to balance speed with careful footwork. Another was a lifting exercise using stones and logs to show how strength could be developed gradually. The alien girls laughed and cheered each other on, their usual grace blending with new energy. They stumbled, fell, and tried again, and each time the human encouraged them. "Humans do this all the time," he said, smiling. "We learn by trying, failing, and trying again. The body and mind grow together." The girls were fascinated not only by his physical skills but by his approach to learning. He was patient, creative, and thoughtful. He did not rush, yet he could accomplish difficult tasks with ease. It was unlike anything the girls had seen before. Their society prized precision and control, But humans seemed to combine freedom, creativity, and resilience in a remarkable way. After the games, they moved to a quieter area of the city. The human showed them simple stretches and ways to relax muscles after exertion. The girls tried to copy him, their lithe forms bending and twisting in new ways. They were surprised at how much strength was hidden in muscles they had never thought about using. They began to understand why humans could perform so many different tasks in difficult environments. Leora asked, "Do you always train like this?" The human nodded. "We move every day. Work, play, exploration. It all trains our bodies. And we also rest to recover. Balance is important." As the hours passed, the girls became more comfortable with him. They began to ask questions about human life, what humans eat, how they sleep, how they solve problems, and how they make decisions under pressure. Each answer fascinated them. Humans were not just physically strong, they were clever, quick-thinking, and adaptable. Their abilities were connected to both mind and body, creating a harmony the aliens found remarkable. In turn, the human learned about the alien girls' abilities. They could sense energy fields, communicate with subtle gestures, and move with incredible agility. He admired their grace, speed, and intuition. He began to see that while humans were physically impressive, the aliens had other skills that humans could never match. It was a perfect exchange, each learning from the other. By midday, the group decided to explore a nearby forest outside the city. The trees of Zeridia were tall, with transparent leaves that shimmered in the sunlight. The ground was soft, covered in a gentle moss that glowed faintly. The girls moved with ease through the forest, but the human was quick to adapt. He climbed low branches, balanced on uneven ground, and navigated the terrain skillfully. The girls watched in awe, realizing how humans could survive and thrive in so many environments. "Your body is amazing," Mira said, genuinely impressed. "It adapts to everything, even places like this." The human smiled. "We learn to adapt because we must. The world is not always safe or easy. Using your body fully helps you survive and explore." They reached a small clearing, where the human demonstrated a human skill he called throwing. He picked up a small rock and tossed it accurately at a target. The alien girls tried to mimic him, laughing when their rocks fell short or curved strangely. They enjoyed the challenge and the fun, but they also realized the subtle skill involved. Humans combined eye, mind, and body in ways they had never considered. After a long day, they returned to the city. The girls were tired but exhilarated. They had learned so much about the human body, its strength, flexibility, and adaptability. They had also learned about patience, perseverance, and creativity. For the first time, they saw humans as more than just creatures from distant worlds. They saw them as beings capable of amazing accomplishments. That evening, as the sun set over Zeridia, the girls sat with the human on a balcony overlooking the city. The sky was painted with colors they had never seen before, blending pinks, purples, and blues in a way that seemed almost magical. The human watched in quiet admiration, thinking about the kindness and curiosity of these alien girls. "You are all very skilled," he said softly, "but you are also willing to learn. That is what makes you strong," Leora nodded. "And you, human, are incredible. We have never seen a body like yours, and we cannot wait to learn more." They spoke of plans for the next day, more exercises, more games, and perhaps even learning simple survival skills together. The human thought about how he could teach them balance, strength, and quick thinking, while also learning their unique abilities in return. He realized that this experience could change the way he understood life in the universe. The alien girls, meanwhile, reflected on the day's discoveries. They were amazed not only by his physical abilities but by his spirit, his courage, kindness, and willingness to share knowledge. Humans, they realized, were remarkable not just for their bodies but for the way they used them, combining strength with intelligence and heart. As night fell, the city lights of Zeridia twinkled like stars below. The girls and the human rested, thinking about the day's lessons. Each felt a growing respect and admiration for the other. They had started as strangers, curious and cautious, but by the end of the day, they had formed a bond. This bond, built on learning and exploration, was only the beginning. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and new opportunities to test their skills. And through it all, the girls would continue to marvel at the human body, its abilities, and the courage that seemed to shine from within him. For the human, It was a chance to share, to teach and to connect in ways he had never imagined. He felt a sense of hope. Hope that different beings from distant worlds could come together, learn from each other, and grow stronger through understanding and cooperation. The first day of cultural exchange had ended, but the adventure was just beginning. The alien girls had learned that humans were not simply curious or interesting. They were resilient, adaptable, and capable of great achievements. And the human had learned that even in a world of advanced beings, friendship, trust, and shared knowledge were universal. As they drifted into sleep, the stars above Zeridia sparkled with possibility. The girls dreamed of mastering the human skills they had witnessed. The human dreamed of exploring the universe further, with new friends and new lessons awaiting. And together, they all looked forward to the days ahead, where the limits of body, mind, and courage would be tested, celebrated, and admired. The day began quietly on Zeridia, but the calm would not last. The alien girls and the human had grown closer over the past 2 days, learning from each other, sharing skills, and marveling at their differences. Yet the universe always held surprises. Today, those surprises would test both the human and the girls in ways they could not have imagined. High above the city, dark clouds gathered, swirling with strange colors that hinted at the storm's unusual nature. The aliens had seen storms before, but this one was stronger, faster, and unpredictable. Energy crackled in the air and the wind carried a strange electric hum. Leora and her friends felt a ripple of unease. "This storm is not normal," Leora said. "We need to prepare the city." The human stood beside them, calm but alert. He could see the potential danger immediately. "I have dealt with storms before," he said. "Not like yours, perhaps, but I can help." The girls moved quickly. They sent messages to their city, warning citizens to take shelter. They activated protective barriers around key areas, but they knew the storm's strength could surpass even their advanced technology. The human watched carefully, studying the landscape, the wind, and the movement of the clouds. "It is too strong for just machines," he said. "We need to act with hands, not only technology." The girls looked at him in surprise. They had relied on their inventions, their energy shields, and their advanced systems. The human's words were simple, but they made sense. Sometimes action, courage, and physical effort mattered more than even the most powerful tools. The storm hit the city suddenly. Winds tore at buildings, lightning struck with unexpected speed, and debris flew through the air. The alien girls were skilled, but the storm tested every limit of their bodies and abilities. The human jumped into action immediately. He ran through the streets, lifting fallen objects, helping citizens to safe areas, and climbing to reach those trapped. His movements were swift, precise, and strong. Every step showed how a human could endure physical challenges while thinking quickly at the same time. The girls followed him, amazed. Leora saw how his muscles moved under stress, how his mind calculated risk and strategy while his body executed difficult actions. "He is incredible," she whispered. "Not just strong, but smart. Everything works together in him." Mira struggled to carry a fallen energy panel to safety. The human came and helped her lift it with ease. "Use your legs, not just your arms," he said calmly. "Balance yourself and the weight will be easier." Mira adjusted her stance and found the panel was much easier to lift. She smiled in surprise, realizing how humans combined technique with strength. As the storm raged on, the human and the girls moved as a team. They rescued citizens, cleared debris, and reinforced weakened structures. The storm tested their courage, endurance, and skill. The human's presence inspired the girls. They pushed themselves further than they had ever done before. They saw that human bodies were designed for resilience, but human spirit made that strength remarkable. During a brief pause, Leora and the human caught their breath atop a damaged building. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the human in a heroic stance. He was exhausted yet alert, helping a citizen from below with calm precision. Leora realized that humans were not just strong, they were endlessly resourceful, able to solve problems under pressure and act decisively, even when danger was close. "You are amazing," she said quietly. "Your body, your mind, everything works together so well. I never imagined anything like this." The human nodded, breathing heavily. "We survive because we must. We act because we care. Strength is important, but courage and thinking are just as important." As the storm continued, the girls began to notice something else. Humans were not afraid to take risks. Where the aliens often hesitated, calculating every possible outcome, the human acted decisively. He lifted heavy debris that the girls had deemed impossible, guided citizens through dangerous streets, and even climbed unstable structures to secure others. His body performed feats of strength and agility that seemed almost superhuman to the aliens. The storm reached its peak. Strong winds threatened to topple buildings, and lightning struck dangerously close. The girls felt fear for the first time during the storm, but the human stayed calm, giving instructions and helping wherever he could. "Do not panic," he said. "We act together, step by step. Strength, skill, and courage, use them all." The alien girls followed his lead, finding confidence in his presence. They combined their abilities with his methods, lifting, moving, and guiding citizens with teamwork and precision. Slowly, they began to see the difference. Technology alone could not always save lives. Physical action, courage, and quick thinking were just as vital. Hours passed and the storm began to weaken. The city was damaged, but thanks to the humans' guidance and the girls' efforts, the people were safe. Leora looked around at the destruction, then at the human standing beside her. She felt admiration like never before. "Your body, your courage, everything about you inspires us," she said. "I cannot believe what we have seen today." The human smiled, exhausted but satisfied. "You all are strong too," he said. "I could not have done it alone. Your skills, your intelligence, and your teamwork saved lives. Humans are strong, but everyone can be strong when we work together." The girls nodded, realizing the truth of his words. Humans were remarkable not only for physical ability but for resilience, courage, and adaptability. Today they had seen it firsthand. But they also learned a lesson. They could combine their unique alien abilities with human methods to achieve even greater results. That evening, after the storm had passed, the girls and the human walked through the city, surveying the damage. The streets were filled with citizens helping each other, inspired by the bravery they had witnessed. The alien girls felt proud. They had learned from the human, but they had also contributed. Together they had faced danger, and together they had saved lives. Mira spoke softly. "I never realized humans could be like this. So strong yet careful, brave yet thoughtful. Everything about you is inspiring." The human shook his head with humility. "I am just one human. But humans are like that. When we must, we rise to the occasion. We survive, we help, and we learn. That is how we thrive." Leora looked up at the sky, now calm and clear after the storm. "We must learn more from you," she said. "Your body, your mind, everything. There is so much we can take back to our city, to improve ourselves and help others." The human nodded. "And I want to learn more from you. Your abilities, your ways of thinking, they are incredible. Together we can understand more about this universe than alone." That night, as the city of Zaridia settled, the human and the alien girls reflected on the day's events. They had faced danger, used strength, courage, and intelligence, and learned from each other. The human had shown them what the human body could do under pressure. The girls had seen that courage, teamwork, and adaptability were universal values that connected life across the stars. The first days of their friendship had been full of wonder and learning. But today had shown something more. It had shown that humans were truly remarkable, not only in body but in spirit. And it had shown that even advanced alien beings could be inspired by courage, resilience, and action. As the stars twinkled above Zaridia, Leora realized that this human had changed her perspective forever. Humans were no longer distant, legendary creatures. They were real, strong, clever, and brave. They could survive, act, and inspire. And perhaps in time, humans and aliens together could achieve great things, exploring, learning, and protecting the universe in ways no single species could. The human, too, understood that his journey was far from over. He had found allies, friends, and teachers in the alien girls. He had seen how different species could learn from each other and face challenges together. For the first time in his travels, he felt that humans were not alone in the universe. There were others who could admire, learn, and grow alongside them. The night was quiet, filled with a sense of accomplishment and hope. Tomorrow would bring new challenges and lessons, but the storm had proven one undeniable truth. Humans were strong, adaptable, and courageous. And when humans and aliens worked together, no challenge was too great. For the first time, the alien girls truly understood why humans inspired awe across the stars. It was not just their bodies, it was their spirit, their courage, and their ability to rise to any challenge. And for the human, it was a reminder that even in a universe full of wonders, friendship, trust, and shared effort were among the most powerful forces of all. The morning after the storm was calm and bright. Ziridia glimmered under the soft sunlight, and the alien girls walked through the streets surveying the city's recovery. Though some damage remained, the citizens moved with purpose, rebuilding, helping each other, and sharing stories of bravery from the previous day. The human walked beside them, observing quietly. He had grown used to their world and their ways, but he was still amazed at their resilience and grace. Leora turned to him with a thoughtful expression. Yesterday you showed us the strength of humans. Today we want to show you something of our own. We have practices and exercises that have been part of our culture for centuries. Perhaps we can learn from each other. The human smiled. I would like that, he said. Learning goes both ways. The girls led him to a wide open space outside the city, where the ground was soft and the air filled with energy. Here the aliens practiced their physical and mental training, a combination of movement, balance, and energy control. They demonstrated flowing movements, leaping gracefully and using their senses in ways the human had never imagined. The human watched closely, fascinated. He tried to imitate their movements at first, stumbling and losing balance, but the girls encouraged him. Your body is strong, Mira said, but it is also different from ours. You must learn our style and we will learn yours. Together we can become stronger. He nodded and tried again, this time combining human strength with their graceful movements. Slowly he began to understand the rhythm, balancing his natural power with their flowing style. The alien girls cheered as he succeeded in simple sequences, and he laughed, feeling proud of his progress. For hours they trained together. The human taught them running, lifting, climbing, and quick reaction exercises. The girls taught him balance, energy sensing, and precision movements. Each learned from the other, amazed at the differences and similarities. By the end of the day, both human and alien had grown stronger, not just physically, but in skill, confidence, and understanding. After the training, they rested near a quiet lake. The water reflected the sky, shimmering with colors that seemed almost magical. The human gazed at the alien girls, feeling a deep sense of respect and admiration. You are amazing, he said. Your skills, your grace, and your courage. I have never seen anything like it. But you have also taught me patience, precision, and how to move in ways I never imagined. Leora smiled. And you have taught us courage, strength, and resilience. We now understand that humans are not just clever, they are capable of incredible action when it matters most. The human thought about the storm, the challenges they had faced, and the lessons they had learned. It is not just about the body, he said. It is also about spirit, heart, and willingness to act. That is what makes humans strong. And I see that it is the same for you. We are different, but we can learn from each other. As the day passed, the human and the girls began to explore new areas of Ziridia. They walked through forests, climbed gentle hills, and even ventured to small caves where bioluminescent plants glowed in the dim light. The human was careful, using his knowledge of survival and balance, while the girls moved with their natural agility and awareness. They laughed together, shared stories, and celebrated their progress. By evening, they returned to the city, where the citizens had completed most repairs. The people welcomed them as heroes. They had witnessed the teamwork, bravery, and skill of the human and the alien girls during the storm, and they felt inspired. Children ran to the human, asking him to demonstrate human abilities, while adults shared their appreciation for the girls' leadership and courage. Leora and the human stood on a platform overlooking the city. Look at them, she said softly. They have learned and they have grown. Together we have made a difference. The human nodded. Yes, and we have all learned something important. Strength, courage, and skill. These are not just human qualities or alien qualities. They belong to anyone willing to act and help others. That night, the girls and the human sat together under the stars. They shared stories of their worlds, their journeys, and their dreams. The human spoke of Earth, a world of oceans, mountains, and diverse people, while the girls described the wonders of Ziridia, its floating towers, glowing forests, and harmonious society. Each story was met with awe, curiosity, and questions. You humans travel far, Mira said. Your courage takes you into space, into the unknown. That is something we admire deeply. The human smiled. We explore because we want to understand, to grow, and to help. But today I have seen that other beings like you can also teach us more than we ever imagined. Leora looked thoughtful. We have seen that humans are not just strong or clever. They are capable of inspiring others, of acting when it matters most, and that is why we will always remember this time together. The following days were filled with new adventures. The human helped the girls improve city safety measures, combining human practicality with alien technology. They built stronger shelters, designed emergency routes, and trained citizens in basic skills for handling unexpected challenges. The girls learned how to use their bodies in ways that complemented their mental abilities, and the human learned new techniques for movement, balance, and focus. With each day, respect and admiration grew. The human realized that humans had unique qualities, their resilience, adaptability, and courage, that inspired beings from other worlds. The girls realized that aliens, though graceful and intelligent, could benefit from the simplicity, action, and creativity that humans brought. One morning, the human stood with Leora and her friends at the top of a tall tower. The city spread below them, shining in the sunlight. "It is time for me to continue my journey," he said. "But I will never forget this place or the lessons we have learned together." Leora nodded, feeling a mixture of pride and sadness. "You have changed our lives," she said, "and you have reminded us that strength, courage, and curiosity can inspire anyone, anywhere. You will always be welcome here," the human smiled, "and I will always carry the memory of you and your world. Humans may be strong, but they are nothing without friendship, trust, and learning from others." Before leaving, the human and the girls performed one last exercise together. It was a combination of human and alien skills. Running, jumping, balancing, and precise movements all mixed into one fluid routine. They laughed, cheered, and encouraged each other, celebrating the bond they had formed. It was more than just training. It was a symbol of cooperation, understanding, and admiration. As the human boarded his vessel, the girls waved, their eyes shining with respect. The human waved back, feeling grateful and inspired. "Goodbye for now," he said. "I will return, and we will continue to learn from each other." The city of Zaridia seemed brighter than ever, not just because of the sun, but because of the lessons learned. Humans, they realized, were creatures of action, courage, and resilience. They had strength, intelligence, and heart that could inspire even the most advanced beings. And when humans and aliens worked together, there was almost nothing they could not accomplish. As the vessel disappeared into the sky, the girls stood together, looking up. "We have learned so much," Leora said softly, "and yet there is more to discover. Humans are extraordinary, and we will always remember what they have taught us." The human, traveling among the stars, looked back at Zaridia one last time. He felt a deep sense of hope and pride. Humans could explore, survive, and thrive, but they could also inspire others, create bonds, and share knowledge across the universe. And in doing so, they would always leave a mark wherever they went. That night, as the stars sparkled and the city rested, both humans and aliens reflected on a simple truth. Strength is admirable, courage is inspiring, and learning from each other makes all beings greater. The bond between worlds had begun, and it would continue to grow, shaped by respect, friendship, and the awe-inspiring abilities of the human body. In the end, the alien girls knew one thing for certain. Humans were truly extraordinary, not because of their technology, not because of weapons or tools, but because of their resilience, courage, and heart. And for the human, he knew that no matter where his journey took him, he had found friends, teachers, and inspiration among the stars. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but the greatest wonder of all was the connection between beings who were willing to learn, teach, and admire one another. And in that connection, humans shone brightly, a reminder of what courage, strength, and determination could achieve.